Okay, so like, quick question, right? When you get like a headache, do you? Oh God. Oh, this is. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I had like a splitting headache all of a sudden for no reason. All right, yo, how's it going, everybody? It's the Masked Man. It's good to be back. It's been a while, hasn't it? And this is my top 10 favorite manga. I'd like to distinguish what I think is quality versus what I enjoy. Mainly because I can find personally one's own enjoyment of the series to kind of sway one's criticisms. And don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, because when you talk about art, there is a level of subjectivity to it. Your feelings are going to affect it no matter what. I just never want, however I feel, to be the main reasoning behind a criticism if I don't have anything of substance to at least try and back it up. Does that make sense? I'm a flawed human being at the end of the day is what I'm trying to say, and I appreciate all of you for putting up with me. Alright, so we might as well just get right into it, and at number 10, I have Spy Family. Now, someone on Twitter, told me that I should include Spy. Bro, it's my favorite top 10. What do you mean I have to include or should honorable mention? I do what I want with my list. But luckily for you, Spy X Family was already in there. I love Spy X Family. It's early on, but believe it or not, I don't love dark story. Okay, I like dark stories, but I don't no, it's not good for me reading too many dark stories. I have so much more of a good time when it's a comedy or romance predicated manga. I especially nowadays, you go through enough in life where you just need something to, it's escapism, right? In a healthy manner, because you always want to keep that balanced. But I love Spy X Family. The whole dynamic of the father being a spy, the mom being an assassin, and the girl somehow having the ability to read minds. Her facial reactions and everything she does is the most adorable and wholesome thing ever. So believe it or not, yes, the Masked Man does like wholesome, whether you knew that or not. And I love this story. If you haven't read Spy X Family, I really suggest that you do. It's nothing but a good time. It falls under that same line of Kaguya-sama, Rent a Girlfriend, Tip Tup Tup. You know what I'm talking about. There's 5 of them. But yeah, I love Spy X Family. Super enjoyable read. It's clean. It's a very fast-paced one. And why not? Why not? All right, moving on to number 9. At number 9, I have Tokyo Revengers. I adore this manga. I adore Tokyo Revengers. This is top class shonen. Tokyo Revengers is a top class shonen. Takemichi is a protagonist that might annoy you at first, but then when you see kind of his deal with loneliness and wanting to really protect the people he loves, you can't help but fall in love with that character as well, and just really get behind his motivations. Takemichi really does redefine strength, and you not needing to be physically imposing, but if you have the ability to inspire and push other people towards a goal, then you're arguably the strongest one there. So I love Takemichi. Mikey's a super dope character as well. If you haven't read Tokyo Revengers, I highly suggest that you do, as well as it's getting an anime adaptation this year. Now, the next one, Akumetsu. Akumetsu, oh man, bro, Akumetsu is just cold. In fact, my current form is the Akumetsu mask, and I love it. How can you not love Akumetsu? It's really just Death Note, but replace the Death Note with a gun. That's what I say all the time. He is the biggest troll ever, and he has this anarchist kind of view on society, and his acts are basically terrorist-like. And I know I probably shouldn't say this, but if the leader of a terrorist organization wasn't Osama bin Laden, but it was Akumetsu, I guarantee you a few more 9/11s would. Oh god. All right, I'm not even going. Moving on. Number 7, Berserk. Yes, Berserk does make my top 10 all-time favorites, but a lot lower than I'm pretty sure a lot of you expected. Like I said, I appreciate Berserk for all the things that it does, and I mean, I love the story because I think it's able to do everything that manga should be able to do at its best. As a previous artist myself, I really do love and appreciating good artwork, especially in the manner in which Berserk does. I love Guts as a character. He's one of my all-time favorites. Berserk does have a romantic narrative, a tragic one nonetheless, but it's still there. The action is great, and it's a manga that really has changed the entire course of my life. because not only the way how it's impacted me as a person, but keep in mind, my channel would not be the way it is now if it wasn't for Berserk. I would not have everything that I have now if it wasn't for the videos I did covering that series, and then eventually expanding onto other things. God knows where I'd be, honestly, if it wasn't for me being able to cover that series. And thank you all so much for the support, because it's great. It's great to see all the other people that Berserk has impacted over the years, and it will forever be one of my favorites. It's not one of my favorites, however, because there's only so many times I can pick up and read Berserk. Not again because it's not good, just because there are certain times in the day I'm already going through my own existential crisis. I don't need to think about somebody else's. Moving on. Number 6, Dorohedoro. I love Dorohedoro. Chaotic, great feel. Q Hashira, I'm pretty sure it's a female. Q Hashira, if you're single, hit your boy up, okay? I simp for none. But Dorohedoro has one of the best casts in all of manga. The antagonistic side, the protagonistic side, they're all super dope. Shin is my favorite character in the entire series, although, of course, Kaiman and his whole split personality ordeal is one that is pretty, as you can tell, is kind of prominent on this channel currently. And Noi and Kaido, best girl. The plot of Dorohedoro is very mystery predicated, like you would find in an Aoki or Sawa work. However, Dorohedoro has such a chaotic feel to it. It has such a raw and kind of junkyard aesthetic with its art style, and I absolutely... I mean, 100% heart, mind, body, soul, although the heart's in the body, so that's not besides the point. I love Q Hashira, hit your boy up, all right? Dorohedoro was apparently 18 years in the making, and currently I think she's working on Die Dark. Or I don't think she is working on Die Dark. Die Dark is another series that if you haven't picked up, you should, by the way, but I love Dorohedoro. I adore it, and I plan on rereading it eventually once I'm not, constantly reading 9 different series at once. Next one, Pluto. I love Pluto. It's 60-something chapters of nothing but great manga. It's Urasawa, because the one criticism you could have with a 20th Century Boys is that it's pretty drawn out in certain senses. Although I love all of 20th Century Boys and I think it's a great story, Pluto is like everything Urasawa has to offer in a little bottle of lightning. What is there not to love about it? I'm also pretty sure Pluto was getting an anime adaptation as well, although there hasn't been much confirmed around that. But it's a wonderful story. You have Urasawa, who took an arc from Astro Boy and turned it into a murder mystery concept. That alone just sounds raw. And then he's able to really tackle the theme of what it means to be human, especially in this world and setting of robots that seem more human as time goes by. And it's brilliant. I think Pluto is something that if it was up to me, everybody would read it. But, it's not, Monster is the big and famous one. But Pluto is on that same tier, without a doubt. Moving on to number 4. At number 4, I have Dragon Ball Z. My childhood. When I would sit alone, I was reading Dragon Ball Z. And that's how that's kind of how I separated myself and was able to, again, escape from everything that was happening at school or whatnot, have a bad day or all the lunch tables were you ever that one kid all the lunch tables were taken and you kind of had to sit by yourself with maybe 1 or 2 other people. It is what it is, but yeah, I didn't care. That meant I got to read Dragon Ball Z in peace. But it'll always be my childhood. I love everything about the manga, especially in Dragon Ball Z, and to this day I stand by the fact that I think it can be underappreciated for just how brilliant the manga is in terms of paneling and how dynamic it is with fight scenes. Very, very, very few mangas I'd throw up there in the same tier as Dragon Ball Z in terms of its paneling and the way that it structures a fight. Dragon Ball is a pioneer, it's an icon, and it'll forever hold a place in my heart. So at number 3, I have Holy Land. I love Holy Land. It is an amazing fighting manga. And oh man, where do I even start? So the protagonist, Yu, Not you as in you. The protagonist name is you. You get the point. YW. Yeah. So the protagonist starts off as this very weak kid. And not weak, not only in a physical sense, but weak just period. And it's one of those series where the development of the protagonist is so well done. It's honestly incredible. I would throw it up there with some of the best. It's great. It's amazing. If you're somebody like me who maybe doesn't feel the most physically strong, right? It's a series that'll get you motivated to self-improve your body, and not only that, but your mentality, your confidence, not for others, but for yourself. And another thing that I really do love about Holy Land that is an underrated aspect, I think, sometimes in a fighting series or series where fighting is the main way to resolve conflict, is the protagonist doesn't always win. There are a good amount of times in the series where he actually loses and has to go back and try again. And around the middle portion of the story, it can come off as a tiny bit repetitive, but it's actually well done because, you know, it creates a lot more tension within the series, and you have to see how he recovers from certain losses and how he has to regain his confidence. After you get your butt kicked in a street fight, it does take a little bit to mentally recover from that sort of thing. And so Holy Land is a great series. I'll always have an appreciation for it, all of the different themes it tackled, and just being one of my favorite stories of all time. Now, at number 2, this one might come as a surprise, but when I thought about it more and more and more, I had nothing but just an overall great enjoyment of the series. Not only do I think it's a quality series, just like I would say about all of the mangas here, but Kaguya-sama is just a big ball of fun. You have so many characters that are so lovable, and after seeing the scenes from the anime, I just love the characters even more. Ishigami is an absolute GOAT. I think all of the homies can relate to Ishigami. You know, he's so freaking cool, bro. I love Ishigami. Chika's dope as well. Kaguya, of course, the protagonist of the series, or well, there's 2 protagonists, but the president of the club is also really well done. And it's really cool to see romance tackled from a strategy perspective, because let's be honest, there are moments where we do be scheming in our head, like, when should I talk to her, when I shouldn't talk to her, you know, virgin type beat. And it's all just fun and wholesome, and it's never boring. It's always entertaining when it comes to Kaguya-sama. I do gotta get back on it because I had to take a break so I could read a bunch of other stuff, but I do want to get back and catch up fully on the series. And now, with that, we can move on to my number 1. My favorite manga of all time, and even though I think the original version's really good, I read Paradise Lost first, and so I have a bit more of a love for that series, and that's GTO. Great teacher Onizuka is amazing. Onizuka is one of the best protagonists, one of the best characters in anime manga, period. And it's a series that not only has a lot of great entertainment, a lot of fun, a lot of great comedic moments, and it's just an enjoyable read. It's also one that's able to mix in very crucial life lessons from all types of levels, whether that's basic knowledge and wisdom to some wisdom that I think could be life-changing for anyone. One of the biggest videos I've seen, if not, I think it's the biggest GTO video, is the manga that taught me how to live, and that's a great video. And it is a manga that can teach you how to live. You know, you have this character like Onizuka who's a bit of a rebel, who's unorthodox, who does things differently, but yet you see his main priority in the human heart, and people should have the freedom to live a happy life and, you know, avoid things that might prevent that and might cause them damage, you know, whether they're lying to themselves thinking that this will achieve happiness when it won't. And, you know, I love stories with good morals and good lessons in them, and GTO is filled to the brim with them, as well as just being one of the, if not probably top 3 funniest mangas I've read. So yeah, that's my top 10 favorite mangas. You can kind of, I guess, contrast that with my recent top 40 and my top 10, although my top 10 has changed since then, so I'm probably gonna have to do an update video on that eventually as well. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see some more of my personal favorite stuff, and as always, this has been The Masked Man. Hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day, and peace.